Hi, a warm welcome to everyone.
I'm Christina T.
Sorry, okay. Hi, okay, let's start again. Welcome to everyone watching from Facebook and on the chat. My name is Sean Chia. I'm the Executive Director of the Malaysian International Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the longest established chamber in Malaysia. We've been advocating and helping businesses since 1837, right? We might be 180 over years old, but we keep up with the time. And this is one of those sharing that we have today with technology that helps your businesses. A lot of businesses, as they grow, they add new systems into their business. And as new systems are added on, there may be process inefficiencies within the large system to be able to hand over. For example, if you're talking about entire supply chain, there's a lot of systems that it's working together, and there might be some inefficiencies. And there are also businesses that are still using a lot of manual work, as in to rekey stuff into what system A from a system B, because there is no integration. The dangers would be the errors in keying your data, and also it's about timing, how fast you can do. So there are some very good examples, like insurance claim or something like that, how fast you can process because you keep keying in and then within the day turn around and faster. So this is, we want to introduce you today some of these new technologies that can help your businesses to improve, okay? We have UiPath and presented by KGISL, right, a technology company. And today we have three panelists or speakers here. First is, of course, Rahul, right? And then we have Harish and Dana, okay? So without further ado, let me pass over to Rahul. Okay, wait. Before we start, a bit of a housekeeping rules. So those that are on Facebook, you can post your questions on the comment section, and we will try to answer them as much as we can. All right. Without further ado, Rahul, over to you. And
Sean, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean. Team, a warm welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for joining in today. We are so happy to be here and to be able to share this information with you. So allow me to quickly share my screen and take you to the journey ahead. 1 minute. All right. Right, so Mr. Sean, I think he has already set a very good stage for the topic. So the topic that we want to speak to you today is RPA, which is Robotic Process Automation. Obviously, we would want to speak about a lot more aspects to it. And in terms of when you're starting on your RPA journey or an automation journey, how do you get started? What is that nuances or what is that finer points that you have to keep in mind? One of those important aspects is selecting a right process for automation. And that is what we will focus on this discussion today, right? So before I begin, let me quickly introduce the speakers. Mr. Sean has done that. Let me quickly touch up. So we have Harish here from UiPath. Harish is the Director of Growth Products and Solution Engineering. We have Dana here. Dana is part of KGISL. He leads our intelligent automation practice as an SVP. Dana is joining us from India. Dana, thank you so much. I understand today is a holiday and it's quite early in India. Thank you so much for being able to take time and join us here. And myself, I'm Rahul. I head the sales efforts for KGISL based out of Malaysia. Right, so we are KGISL as a company. We are part of the KG group. As a KG group, we started off from 1930, from textile, from yarn, and all throughout then we ventured into software as a service as well. And that is where we've become a huge, big conglomerate of $750 million across multiple different industries, multiple different verticals, which is being supported by the software organization. Right. So we started the software journey or the software industry somewhere around 1997, 1995. And since then, we've expanded our services, we've expanded our regions, we've expanded our reach all throughout, right? We started, I think, our Malaysia operations somewhere in 2005, where we introduced products to the insurance and banking customers. And since then, we've explored and we've gone ahead and we've brought a lot of newer solutions to the market, right? So quickly sharing the locations that we work out of, as you can see, ASEAN, India, Australia, US is our focus area as well. So as a full-fledged IT company, we provide products, solutions, and services. Today, we will be talking about the intelligent automation services, which is RPA, or robotic process automation, as it is known as. So this is our internal skill set, or the internal group that we are known as the Intelligent Automation Group. We are certified professionals of this particular technology. We provide multiple services across this technology to help all of you deliver the results that are necessary. Right, so let me get started on the topic, which is, and I want to welcome all of you guys to the software robot world. Right, so RPA has been around for some time. The RPA technology burst on the foray somewhere around in 2016, 2017, when this technology was picking up. Right now in 2022, a lot of the customers have adopted this technology. A lot of the customers have been using this for automating all of their mundane processes, all of the repetitive tasks, all of the processes where they would want to connect two different applications that do not talk to each other or are unable to interact with each other, right? Now, because these are software robots, these software robots can emulate how a human user will work with the system. So as a human user, and interacting with, say, my SAP application or my Excel sheets or my email, right? Exactly in the same way, the robots will also understand that particular language, will understand that particular interaction, and can mimic that particular interaction after the required training. Now, because these are software robots, they are able to do the activity, right? So they're able to see and they're able to do that activity. But the decision-making aspect of it, or the approval aspect of it, are still kept manual in nature, where we would bring in a human user to come in and to approve those activities, or to bring in the intelligence bit of things, right? So that is where we say acts as the hands and eyes and not the brain at this point, because I think the brain is when we will bring in the AI and ML bit of things as well. Right now, because these are software robots, there are no makan breaks, there are no coffee breaks that are required, and they can work tirelessly throughout, right? So 24/7 is what they are able to work for us. Again, from a technology perspective, Gartner has been advocating and has been coming out with their information to say that hyper-automation and automation are one of the key trends of 2022. I think I've been viewing the Gartner trends right from 2020, when they've been talking about hyper-automation and RPA as the skill that has to be adopted by the organizations as they move ahead. Right, so quickly at a very base level, because I know few of you may not be familiar with this particular topic, hence I want to break this down further and explain it to you at a very simple level. Feel free to raise questions, raise comments, and we'll be happy to answer them as we go along. Right, so RPA, or robotic process automation, is basically a technology, a software robot, a software system, which will sit on your laptops, which will sit out of your servers, or can be deployed out of your own cloud systems. And will mimic human interaction as we train them to complete that particular processes. So what is a process, right? Currently, anything that you are doing manual in nature. So if in case it is manual, there are chances that you may, there are errors that could come up. If in case there is a huge volume, then it will become difficult for the users to complete in that particular timeline. So then it adds to the backlog. To avoid all of these or to overcome all of these is when we introduce software robots. Now, these robots will understand the process. We will help train those robots and we will break it down into a workflow. So when we say a workflow, anything that we can break it down into, say, different steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, is when we are able to automate that particular journey and we are able to train that particular robots to say that this is how it has to continue to do. Because these are software robots, they will continue to do those 4 steps that they've been trained time and again, without a break, without a challenge, without going out of that parameters that we have defined. Right? Now, again, software robots, they can work 24/7. The important aspect here is compliance. Because we've been working with a lot of, say, financial organizations, with banking, insurance companies, with multiple different verticals, compliance plays an extremely important part here as well. Any step, any click, any action that the robot takes, everything is available and is logged and can be used from an audit perspective. Right? So there is nothing that the robot does outside which does not get logged and will become a surprise. So I have documented, or I have brought together few of the capabilities that we think are important from a base perspective that the robots can deliver, right? So be it opening and reading email attachments, say moving files in and out, copying some information from would be one Excel sheet to another Excel sheet, right? Getting some data from the web. So see, most of the processes that we have automated for our customers involve either taking some data from one of the websites, copying it into an Excel sheet, and then sharing that information out over an email, right? And these are simple processes that the software robots can handle, can do extremely easily, extremely quickly. If in case it comes to more technical aspects, like connecting systems through API, or getting some, or making some calculations, or getting some of the other data between 2 different applications, again, all of that is very easily possible by these software robots, right? Again, because the industry is so, because the technology is so industry agnostic, hence it can be applied across different departments of different industries, right? So again, we've jotted down a few quick examples which will help you to understand how this can be utilized within your industry. Again, we'll be happy to have a chat with you if in case you require a specific understanding or a specific problem statement, specific department. We'll be happy to discuss and explain how RPA or how automation can be done within that particular domain. Right. Again, in my slide, I'm trying to show and focus on the generic aspects to say that finance, procure to pay, order to cash, record to report, other generic processes that should be automated, because we know the kind of backlog or the kind of volume that the teams would have, and trying to do this in the traditional fashion, in the manual fashion, could pose challenges, right? Moving ahead, at a very high level, right? The benefits of RPA is definitely cost reduction, because we are looking to increase productivity. So in the same time, because of the speed of the particular robots, they're able to transact a higher volume of data for you. And hence you can view that cost reduction coming in immediately. Compliance, I've mentioned, because again, everything is logged, everything is available, hence there is an increase in compliance. I'll touch on one more aspect, which is scalability. Now, because these robots are deployed and they are trained once, hence they can be scaled to multiple different robots, multiple different aspects immediately, right? So with just one click, we can have 5 different robots completing that same particular process at a touch of a button. Right? So the idea here is that this technology can scale up, this technology can help you automate and can help you reduce your workload. Right. So with this, I'll call the next speaker on, Dana, our vice president. He wants to come in and speak in terms of how this technology is moving ahead, what is the domain, and how are we seeing this evolve. Hi, Dana. Good morning.
Thank you, Rahul. You might want to stay on the previous slide. I just wanted to take over from there.
Sure.
Very good morning, good afternoon, guests joining in for this webinar. I just wanted to summarize what Rahul was speaking about in terms of robotic process automation by saying this. All of us know during the Industrial Revolution, machines came in to help people reduce physical work, right? Take a simple example of a bicycle, which was ridden manually by a person. You attach a motor to it, it became a motorbike. That is a machine, right? So even bicycle is a machine, because instead of walking, bicycle actually helped people to reach places faster with lesser effort. So if machines helped humans reduce their physical work, bots are going to help you reduce your mental work and your time at office, time in front of the system. So anything which you are doing by sitting, by reading an email and then like taking some data out from that email and then plugging into another system, or like doing transport of data between systems can be done using RPA. So digital revolution is about bringing in a bot to help you. It is not to replace people. That is a misconceived notion. So I just wanted to clarify that. Bots come in to aid humans in reducing their mental work. So that's how we want to start off with. And Rahul did cover the key benefits currently reaped by automation, right? Whether it be cost reduction, compliance, or improved reporting and scalability, all of it, right? So these are key benefits which are currently reaped by customers who have implemented robotic process automation as of today. But what is that? Where is the future, right? I mean, like Rahul also covered that as of today, bots do not provide thinking capabilities, but that is in the future, right? So I want to give a sneak peek into the future. So Rahul, you can move ahead skip one slide and then move to the next slide on like, what is in the future, right? Automation is expected to help with personalized customer experience and aid business transformation by disrupting different technology elements in the flow. And third part is autonomous automation or a self-learning automation. The process mining and task mining capabilities which UiPath brings in also can be classified under autonomous or self-learning automation because it has AI/ML capabilities. So there are also other AI/ML capabilities or autonomous automation which I could give as examples. For example, intelligent document processing. If you have a document, one of the first steps in automation is building up the data pipeline, data infusion into your system from different data sources. There could be hundreds of data sources, like data coming in the form of emails, in the form of Excel spreadsheets, in the form of physical hard copy documents. A lot of this data which is there, it has been inputted into your systems or applications, whether it be an ERP or a CRM or your core systems, right? That job, and there are like a lot of tools, including a document understanding platform from UiPath, which help in doing it. There again, AI/ML plays a big role. So there are multiple use cases I could provide, but net automation expectations from the future are to help improve customer net promoter score or customer satisfaction scores and employee NPS. So much beyond the cost reduction and the compliance and error reduction aspects. I mean, the automation is expected to have a much bigger role. So move on, Rahul, to the next slide. So how is the automation journey progressing, right? When from the time it was started, the first attempt was try to automate everything. Anything and everything that could be automated should be automated. And that's the definition of hyper automation, right? So we try to automate every other manual work which we are doing, so that time could be freed up for you to perform something else which requires your repurpose your efforts in a much better way. The second aspect to it is make it pervasive across layers. I mean, the first part of it was trying to automate everything. The second part of it is pervasive, make it pervasive across layers. So it is not enough if you automate just the front end layer or the thing. Like, I mean, try to automate across layers. That was a second step, a pervasive automation. The third aspect or the third dimension to automation is the intelligent automation layer, wherein, I mean, like, you add an intelligent element by bringing in AI ML into play. So this is the evolution of automation from trying to automate your mundane tasks to make it pervasive across layers, to add AI ML capabilities to automation. So that's how the automation has progressed so far. Rahul, like, I want to move on. I've just summarized the same thing, how automation was in the past. I mean, from trying to automate everything to making it pervasive across layers to AI and ML assisted. So obviously, like, I mean, the benefits are also changing, right? From being from assisting in the process optimization or efficiency improvement to improving your overall throughput and productivity. Subsequently, the next phase, when with the AI ML assistance, it's going to improve your customer experience and result in more happy end customers, right? The end result. So automation can help with it. So that's about how automation has progressed from past, present to the future. Rahul?
No, thank you so much. I think that definitely gives us a view in terms of how is this technology currently and how the customers and the clients should view this moving ahead, so that they can evolve around along with this journey. Right. So, team, with this understanding, and hopefully you've got a good understanding of RPA as such. Where is it right now, and how is it progressing ahead? This entire journey, we have relied on UiPath as a company, as the software organization that has been helping us to deliver all of these things to our customers. UiPath actually has been on the forefront of making the change that is required in the RPA domain, and is leading the RPA domain by leaps and bounds. They have actually products or solutions across all the different domains, all the different methodologies that you would have to go through in this particular journey. So today, as we are starting off this journey, we are starting off this, a few of you would be starting off this RPA journey, few of you would be at different phases. We want to introduce the products, the technology that will help you discover more processes, to help you understand and identify that right set of processes that will give you the maximum ROI from this automation, right? So again, as you view the entire platform on your screen right now from UiPath, it has multiple different aspects to it. Today, we will focus on the discovery aspect, which is discovering the right processes. And in this particular discovery aspect, we will focus on process mining and task mining as two of those important tools, which introduce a scientific way of identifying those processes and eliminating the guesswork out of whether this process will make sense, whether can we automate this, will this give me the ROI? So all of those questions will be answered with this particular tools and solutions, right? So with this, let me quickly call upon Harish to showcase his screen and to take us to this journey and explain to us what is process mining, what is task mining, and how this has been changing our customers. Hi Harish, good morning. Thank you for joining in.
Thanks, Rahul. Thanks, Dana. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, it was a great perspective. Let me share my screen.
right? As Harish shares the screen, team, please feel free to drop in your questions. We'll be happy to answer. If you want any of us to specifically answer, please feel free to address us. We're happy to take questions as we go along as well, right? So Harish, sorry, go ahead.
Yep,
we
no
can see your
worries.
screen.
Sure, thanks. Hi all, thanks for joining this webinar. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. And I think Rahul and Dana set the right perspective of how the automation is evolving and how organizations either embarking on their automation journey or already in the journey, how they can actually scale and find the right processes to automate is what I'll be talking through. So that's where the agenda would be. Firstly, I'll explain what is the entire process discovery overview. I mean, we have a few products over there, and then deep dive into process mining. And then I'll show you a live demo of process mining in action. And then I'll touch upon a few use cases that are that organizations can leverage. And also I'll be touching upon the task mining, time permits, and then we'll have a Q&A. So I think the fundamental question is, yeah, I mean, organizations now realize the value of automation, but how do you actually find enough and the right processes that can be automated that will deliver you tangible benefits, right? So what we have seen, I mean, from some couple of analysts reviews, what we have come to know is, yeah, I mean, there's almost like 37% of decision makers actually report delays in their transformation initiatives due to the simple fact that they actually don't understand their complex processes end to end. I mean, they may have a high level process understanding, but what happens on the ground is not truly visible, right? That's one aspect. And also several other initiatives also actually in not just getting delayed, but also we have seen failures in actually not meeting the business value that was initially justified. I mean, leadership team in an organization definitely want to see what is the value that you will achieve out of an automation. Right? Main thing is, yes, you need to improve your productivity and then also gain other benefits out of it. But if you select a wrong process, you don't know what's happening, then you will actually end up putting some effort into an automation which might not deliver the right value for you, right? So some of the challenges that we see in most of our or some of our organizations are, yeah, one is organizations don't have detailed transparency of processes, and also it's very either the processes are very complex and kind of inefficient, and also there's a lot of department that works in silos and you don't know the handoffs that happens. And in many organizations, the one other part is unless you come with a fact-based or scientific-based data to justify why you want to automate a process, it makes it easier for your leadership team to kind of give the blessings and take these ideas for automation, right? Unless you have a fact-based data, it's really difficult. So what these challenges impact, I don't need to spell out. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes, many a times, it's actually very time-consuming, and you actually end up with a poor customer satisfaction, or your internal employee satisfaction is not aligned. And of course, your prioritization of investments is also kind of you're not reaping the benefits of taking the right initiative at the right priority, right? These are some of the impacts that we see. So I'll briefly touch upon this the automation platform or automation flywheel. Rahul also touched upon what products we have, so I'll not spend much time on this. Of course, UiPath, I mean, the technology evolution that UiPath has evolved, I mean, has built in. I mean, it's we have almost every product to cater for not just automation, but finding opportunities for automation, building the automation intelligently using AI and ML, of course, and then also making those automation resilient by testing them continuously using a test suite of products. And then, of course, all these are managed by our central orchestrator that actually orchestrates all the robots, when to run and how to run and so on. And of course, we have the engagement pillar where the robots will engage human if there is a need. That's where we have this kind of 4 pillars or 5 pillars, I would say: discover, build, manage, engage, and eventually all this actually ensures the robots run and executes the automation that is planned for. So I'll focus more into the Discover portfolio. So what do we have in Discover portfolio is for an organization to get a detailed understanding of processes, because many a times what happens is the processes are sprinkled with information across multiple sources, and it's really difficult for organizations to keep up with the documentation that is needed, or during evolution of your technology, you may have done some improvements or added more applications, but you have not documented well enough, and you don't know what actually happens on the ground. So that's where in the first part we have under capture. So this is where what happens is we use process mining to capture digital footprints from your enterprise applications. So in these examples are SAP, Oracle, ServiceNow, or any other kind of IT enterprise application that logs or keeps a logs of transaction and the activities with timestamp. If the IT application has this relevant information, then actually we can pull those data into process mining and start analyzing, right? So that's what process mining does. It basically gets data from enterprise applications, builds the process graph, and highlights, provides insights so that the analyst can make informed decisions. Whereas the second one is, we call it as a record. So this is more of a desktop view of how transactions or activities are done. So we use a tool called task mining. So task mining also looks at end users' individual activities that they do on their desktops. And the AI, task mining uses AI ML model to review the recording and provide insights by recommending which are the tasks that can be automated. So it basically creates a ranking of the most probable tasks that can be automated by looking at how user does actions on their desktop kind of applications, right? So combining process mining and task mining, we definitely have a very powerful tool of one, looking at a holistic view of an end-to-end process that happens in system level. On top of it, you can zoom into a specific area to understand what exactly happens at desktop level using task mining. And both this, using both this, you can push these as automation ideas, like whenever process analysts find certain areas of improvements, it could be an inefficiency, bottleneck, or a lot of manual processing time, then they can push that as an automation idea into a crowdsourcing platform called Automation Hub. So this is where we can collate all the requirements related to various ideas. It could be a manual idea that a user suggests as one source, and an idea can come from process mining, an idea can come from task mining. So all these can be analyzed, reviewed, prioritized, and the right business case can be built using ROI analysis, using Automation Hub. And eventually you can either take it up for automation, or you can also do other initiatives to improve the shortcomings in your processes. And lastly, we have a simple but very effective tool called Task Capture. So this kind of a complementary product that comes along with any automation developer license, or even as part of the process mining or task mining license, you get a task capture as a license. So it's a simple desktop tool that you can use to record and capture the detailed process level steps. So it's basically kind of recording how an end user does a transaction. So the task capture does not analyze whether it has any improvement areas or not. Task capture is meant to document at a very detailed level, including element level, field level kind of navigation and the steps, so that you can kickstart your automation journey, right? So using task capture, once you document the detailed steps, you can directly kind of create a skeleton. It creates a skeleton XAML file that can be used in UiPath Studio to kickstart building your workflow, which is already built, but you can still add additional validations and ensure that things are in right place and then kickstart your automation. So these are the 4 products under what we call as intelligent discovery or a discovery portfolio that we have, right? So many a times customers do ask us, what's the difference between process mining and task mining? Where do I use process mining versus where do I put task mining to use? So here's a simple representation. Consider you're analyzing end-to-end process of purchase to pay, because purchase to pay or order to cash, these 2 processes exist in any kind of industry vertical, and there are immense automation potential across these areas. So this is just an example that we are trying to give. So assuming process mining is connected to SAP to kind of study the end-to-end process from creating of a purchase order, goods receipt, invoice creation, and invoice payment, right? So process mining can identify maybe a bottleneck or an inefficient process within a create PO area. So this is done by the buyers, but you wouldn't know what exactly happens at the desktop level. So in order to zoom in, you can alternatively kind of deploy task mining to just focus on this process area, how buyer actually gets the requirements, get the requisitions, and then they actually enter the purchase orders into the system. So in that case, the buyer actually gets an email. It could be a requisition, a manual requisition via email. The buyer actually opens a PDF, reads the PDF, enters the data into SAP, and then saves the data. So all these are 4 additional things that happens that might not be visible using process mining. So that's where task mining complements by getting more information out of the desktop level actions. So that's how we kind of use process mining to look at holistically a complete end-to-end process, find SLA violations or inefficiencies or bottlenecks and so on. Whereas you can use task mining to go into one step detail to find exactly what happens at desktop level, right? So I'll jump into process mining. I hope the initial introduction and the explanation of what is process mining and task mining is clear. Of course, you can message us in the chat for any doubts or clarifications. So as I said previously, so process mining is part of the entire platform of UiPath. It basically uses transactional data from enterprise applications to build process view, an end-to-end process view, and also in addition to that, identify certain predefined KPIs or metrics that can help analysts or process analysts to quickly pinpoint which are the areas that can be taken up for improvement initiatives. The improvement can be automation, or improvement can be any other initiative that an analyst can think of, right? So that's where process mining is designed for. So key benefits are definitely the first one is gaining complete visibility or transparency into your processes. That's one of the key, as I also highlighted, as this is one of the challenges why certain automations fail is lack of detailed understanding of your process. So once you get a deeper understanding of a process, then definitely you can look at transforming the process, either automation or any other initiatives. And using this tool, definitely you can find more automation ideas, automation pipeline into your automation journey. That's one also we have seen many organizations embark on automation, but they would not reach the scale at which the leadership wants to achieve, right? You may have several inefficient processes, but you don't know where to start. You don't know um, at a short span, how do you kind of find more potential so that you can feed your the automation pipeline and start reaping the benefits. So that's where process mining helps accelerate the discovery of process inefficiencies and feed your automation pipeline as well. And lastly, yeah, definitely it boosts your success rate of automation because you're using scientific methods to evaluate whether the process that you're selecting is the right process for automation or not. And so mainly, what do you actually view using process mining, right? So what it gives is a granular view into, firstly, if I talk about a process step. So this is a very clear and a strong capability of the tool where it builds the process steps just by looking into the transactional data from your enterprise applications. Right, because you don't need to tell the system what is the process. It actually builds the system just by looking at the transactional data. So using the process graph, what you look at is you can clearly identify what is your ideal path, what are the variations that you might not have come across that users are doing, so for example, undesired or missing steps and so on. So this is clear, giving you greater transparency and visibility into your processes. And the second one definitely is the throughput time, because you need to clearly understand to build any business case for automation, you need to understand what is the end-to-end throughput time that the transaction or the process takes. The process mining also has insight into the percentage of automation in a particular process that has already been, or if for example in a purchase to pay, certain task has already been automated, using the logs from the enterprise application or the system usernames, we can actually identify whether that particular activity was human transacted activity or a robot kind of transacted activity. So using that, we can actually gain insight into what percentage of your process are automated, and what are the areas that you can look for in future. And of course, the other areas are you can look at interactions. Many organizations love to get one single view, similar to a BI, where you can actually look at process steps. You can look at throughput time, which is very handy for maybe a Lean Six Sigma team or someone who wants to do a time and motion study or value stream analysis. So this one single dashboard gives you all the information that you need. On top of it, of course, organizations love to keep a tab on any compliance issues or violations that may happen, that you want to quickly look at it and take action on it, so that immediate view you can get. And of course, as part of analyzing the throughput time, we can also get in some of the cost information to estimate what is the manual processing cost that is actually happening in your end-to-end process. So using this, you can quickly quantify which are the areas that you want to take up first, right? If your process A takes maybe a longer time, but the cost is not that high, but you may consider maybe process B, even though the processing time is not that long, but the manual processing cost is very high in that area. So in that case, you can actually prioritize using that attribute. And lastly, yeah, of course, process mining can be extended to add any additional attributes or KPIs or metrics that you may want to. So ultimately, what it leads in summary are it helps you to discover inefficiency and, of course, the risk. It helps you to transform end-to-end process. And process mining is not a one-time kind of a deployment. Process mining is used to continuously monitor processes, because we bring in data depending on the organization's need. We can bring in a fresh set of data maybe every day, every 1 hour, every week, or every month, depending on the need, so that you can compare how the improvement areas are faring in your processes. So that's where we kind of use process mining to monitor continuously, right? So I'll not spend time on this, rather I'll take you directly to the live demo. So these are some of the capabilities of the products. So we have connectors, we have pre-built connectors, we have generic connectors where you can actually connect to known systems and processes, or the generic connectors can be used to build capability to any other new system or processes. And of course, we have the dashboard, which we call as app templates. Again, here we have a generic dashboard that can cater to any process or system. And we also have pre-built dashboards that cater to specific line of business, or horizontal, I would say horizontal business, which is could be process to purchase to pay, or order to cash, and so on. And the visualization gives you ability to kind of view the KPIs, the graphs, and other information that dashboard provides. And once the ideas are either improved using automation or any other initiatives, then of course you can compare within process mining how they are actually being improved, right? That view you can get. And lastly, yes, the monitoring is what I was highlighting, where after the improvement initiative has been done, then you can actually monitor how things are showing up on your dashboards, or if there are any other area that you need to take up in the subsequent time. And of course, process mining interacts with other UiPath products like Automation Hub, as earlier I mentioned. You can submit ideas from process mining into Automation Hub, and also we can trigger certain actions into Action Center. These are Action Center is a product that manages all the notifications and actions for all our UiPath products. So process mining can also we can trigger kind of rule-based notifications to take to certain people to take action, or even notifications can be pushed from process mining in an ad hoc way, so that action can be a simple thing like calling a robot to do something, right? That's what we kind of close the loop. So outcome from process mining, you can actually, one is a tactical way of building automations and then you eventually improving the process. The other one is short-term or immediate action that you can take on transactions. Is if there is a invoice that is getting delayed and the supplier is a high priority supplier and we don't want to end up paying penalties, then the process mining can immediately send a notification to user saying there is this invoice that is due in maybe the next 2 days, but it is actually delayed beyond the due date and you want to take immediate action, right? So in that case, process mining can send a notification and the action from the notification can be triggering a robot to kind of processing the invoice. So that's what the end-to-end loop can be achieved using process mining. I will quickly explain this in the live demo, the difference between app one or a generic dashboard versus a pre-built discovery accelerators. Okay, so let me take you to a live demo. I hope you can see my browser. Right, so this is process mining dashboard that I want to show. So one is you can see the information that you see is very specific to a process. So this is what we call as a discovery accelerator, or a pre-built dashboard created for a specific process. So in this case, this analyzes the purchase to pay end-to-end process, pulling data from, it could be SAP, it could be Oracle, it could be JDE, or even Workday. Any data that meets the input data requirements we can pull in. And so these KPIs and metrics are pre-built, so you don't need to kind of think about what should be the metrics or KPIs that you want to design. So this gives you ability to kickstart quickly, embark on analyzing your process rather than developing or tweaking the dashboard. So that's where the pre-built dashboard or the discovery accelerator comes in handy. So let me quickly navigate and show you what this dashboard is all about. So what you're seeing is, let me move this around a bit. So on the main dashboard, we can give a quick view to a process analyst who is very keen to understand, based on a specific time period, all the important information about your end-to-end purchase to pay process. So in this case, you're looking at, one is a procurement tab. In this, you're looking at the number of purchase orders that have been created in the system, number of purchase order line items, and the total dollar value for the period you're analyzing. And the below ones are the important ones that gives you a gauge of some of these metrics. For example, most procurement organizations or procurement heads would be looking at the percentage of maverick buying. Maverick buying in the sense, your organizations may be buying things outside your procurement policies. It could be not following your processes. It could be not buying from your right approved suppliers, or it could be creating a purchase orders, receipts, and invoices after the fact. So all these can be flagged to kind of give you a view so that you can analyze why there is maverick buying, because generally in this case, you would be actually spending more, because your buyers might be procuring from a different source that is not approved for you to purchase, right? And it also gives you a dollar value for this maverick buying cases. And the other important thing for within a procurement is your late deliveries. How are your suppliers' performance? So using this, you can quickly look at how many of your purchase orders are getting delayed. And the other one is the average throughput time. So in this case, just looking at the PO approval, but of course, you can also look at the total average throughput time for end-to-end, from the point of creating requisition until the invoice is getting paid. You can actually view the throughput time. And this graph will give you a historical view or a trend, so that you can quickly view for the prior years or the prior month or a prior quarter. So that way you get a one-stop view to quickly view what's happening. And secondly, similar information would be available in this accounts payable tab. I think I need to sign in again. It was quite a while back that I logged in. Sorry about that. So meanwhile, while it loads, what you're seeing is one dashboard view for all the needs of your procurement team, procurement leads or procurement head, or the process analyst that is looking at improving the end-to-end process within the purchase to pay. That is displayed here. I was about to show you accounts payable view. Again, here you get a view on the invoices, the invoice value, and the other metric that is relevant for invoice processing is the percentage of discount that you captured, because you get a discount if you pay on time or early, right? Based on the due date. So if you kind of delay paying your supplier invoices beyond the due days, then you're not getting that that discount. Actually, in some cases, you might be paying penalties as well in some supplier. right? And also you'll be looking at the delayed payment, the late payment cases, and so on. And what important view I was explaining is the core capability is the tool is able to build a complete end-to-end process view. So you can see here on this graph, we call it as a spaghetti chart, or a simple chart for a reason. So you can see a very lean view of complete steps or actions done in completing, starting from a requisition all the way until creating your payment, right? It looks very lean because I actually moved the slider of this detail to the bottom left. Whereas what analysts would be looking at is where are the inefficiencies, where are the variations that happen. So as long once I start moving the slider, you can see the outliers start appearing. I mean, you can see this, some additional activities popped up, even though they are not that prominent, but you can still see the number of cases. As I move out, you can see a big anomaly that appears. Of course, some of these can be very, I mean, it could be the right process depending on the type of purchase order, but many a times these are simply not ideal process. They are simply kind of a rework being done, or not following the right process, or they might be just doing that is not documented to meet your SLAs, right? So that is one quick view you can get out of process mining. So all these are built just by analyzing the data coming in from your enterprise applications. And it also gives you a heat map, right? The darker the colored steps or boxes represent the cases or the number of transactions that flows through, including the arrow mark that actually highlights the number of cases that goes through. And I can actually change the metric here to, for example, view, instead of number of cases, I want to see the heat map for the time, right? I want to see maybe average throughput time that takes. You can see the color change. You can see the where certain tasks are actually taking time. There's 7 days here, there's 5 days between these two activities here. So that's how you can quickly gauge and gain insight into how your processes are being done. Let me bring it back to the number of cases. And one other very handy tool is, for example, let me bring it back to a smaller view. And then actually I can view how the transactions are flowing end to end. It actually gives me an animated view. Let me expand this a bit. Right? Sorry. Okay, so I can actually play an animation, right? So as part of the animation, it will show in different colored balls the transactions are flowing through. So each of these different colored represent maybe it could be a different PO type or any other representation that we can meet. We can look at it. The slower the activity is going through actually indicates maybe it's, that's where it is taking longest amount of time. So you can actually zoom in directly into this by clicking into that particular transaction. Sorry, it actually selected the arrow instead of the process. So I can actually view the detail of that particular transaction by going into detail. So if I go to detail, I should be able to see all the kind of a Gantt chart view of the steps of your purchase order transactions. Let me come back to the process again. Let me zoom out a bit. Sorry. So this is one quick view you can get out of analyzing your process. And on the left-hand side, you also have various capabilities to slice and dice the information that you want to analyze. For example, I want to, instead of looking at purchase order type, I want to look at the material group or the category of your purchase order that you want to analyze. I want to look at the supplier type or a supplier name or the user who is actually creating this purchase order username, right? I want to look at, I can add multiple, for example, maybe a cost center view. I want to see which cost center actually is causing the anomaly that I want to analyze. I can also quick filter, put a quick filter around here. For example, if I select this, it will ask me to kind of select this view quickly, and then the same thing is applied. For example, I've selected a particular user to analyze, so that's how it has put a filter. I can see which filter is applied on the right hand side. I can remove it if I need to. So all this slicing and dicing of information can be done right here, right? I can also view the different information, like instead of number of items, I want to look at average throughput time end to end, right? That's where your organizations would be interested in. Like, I'll remove this cost center. I'll come back to purchase order type. Right. So these are the abilities that you can view. So what action you can take directly from here is, for example, if an analyst sees that there is a longer throughput time between any of these two activities, and you feel that that needs to be either looked into detail or taken up for further study or automation, then you can directly submit that as an idea. But what I'll do is I'll go to several other tabs just to give you what additional thing you can look at. For example, let me go to efficiency. So efficiency tab is where you can actually gain insight into what processes are already automated and which areas are not automated yet, and find the event cost for you to quickly make a informed judgment of, okay, this actually, I mean, this particular activity takes sufficient manual effort cost. Can I take this up for automation? And you can see what is the current automation rate. It's only 30% of maybe approving requisition might not be a valid business case here. But if you look at, maybe if you look at creating of a purchase order, the manual effort is around 34,000, but it's only 0% that is currently automated. But even if you think of automating 10%, 15%, 30%, 50% or 60% out of it, you can achieve greater benefit. And we are just looking at 1 quarter at this time. I mean, if I zoom into entire year, so this could be a very good business case. So assuming you want to kind of look at purchase order item or create purchase order item as one potential for you to automate, I can come back to the process step here. I can create purchase order item is one area that I think maybe I can submit as an automation idea. So what I can do is I'm actually pushing this as an idea into Automation Hub from this page. So that's what I'm trying to do. So the system should pop me a box for me to enter the details. It's taking a bit time. So what I can do is create few items, right? I can look at what is the percentage of digital input in this case as a rough gauge, and submit this as an automation idea. So automation idea need not be that you have to take this up for automation, but you can look at maybe subject matter expert can come in and then look at this particular automation idea and Automation Hub and suggest what needs to be done. So I can actually click the link directly that will take me to Automation Hub like this. So Yeah. I think I had signed into many different logins, but anyway, let me bring you back to process mining again. Let me see if, okay. So basically I just had to sign in back again, but otherwise what it will display is all the information from process mining, the task level information, the processing time, throughput time, any manual cost that is associated, all this will be pushed into Automation Hub. So from there, what users can do is take informed decision and take that as an automation idea. So this is one kind of a quick view you can gauge, and let me also show you one other view. For example, if I'm an user and then I'm looking at I'm keen to look at what is the Maverick buying rate, why it is not at the right order. Let me go back to Q2 2019. I know the trend was not good back in 2019. I mean, quarter on quarter, I see the Maverick buying cases are increasing. So in this case, you are actually seeing 11% jump from previous quarter. So if I click this, it will take me directly to an analysis view by putting a filter exactly where I want to be. For example, in this case, I'm looking at the reasons for Maverick buying. So the reasons could be the goods delivered without PO approval. You see the cases where invoices are received without PO approval, or goods were actually delivered before the PO approval. So all these anomalies can be identified as tags in the system. So this is one quick view where analysts can look at, and this could be a compliance issue, right? Clearly, you see that this is not the right process that your organization wants to follow, and you want to stem this at the onset. So that's where you can get a quick view. And if you want to do a quick root cause analysis on this, I can actually, let me go back to my Zoom links are kind of giving me trouble. Let me select any of the compliance issues and then come back to root cause analysis. So let me select goods delivered without PO approval. Let me select this. And then if I want to do a root cause analysis, I can quickly click this icon. And then, so using root cause analysis, you can look at, again, a very detailed view of what is your organization norm or average of Maverick buying across all the departments. For example, in this, the reference percentage is around 16%, but you want to look at specific cases comparing against your reference. So in this case, this particular GNBP standard PO is actually causing 51% higher than your norm. That means it is actually 67% of Maverick buying cases is happening among this, but also you see that the number of cases are very low. So this is how you can actually take a make a judgment call of are these really tangible that you need to really put effort in analyzing. The second one seem more ideal because you have more number of cases going through, and also they are actually almost 24% higher than your the norm. Then you can subsequently slice that down. You can put additional filter and do the analysis. So that's how you can use process mining to kind of one, get a transparent, detailed, transparent clarity of your end-to-end processes. In addition to that, you can get a view of all the various KPIs and metrics that your process analysts would want to know, and various other information that definitely helps. So all these are in one page, and these are built just by pulling in data from your enterprise application. So this is one example of a pre-built or a accelerator, a discovery accelerator that helps you kickstart in a particular area that we have expertise in and that we have built as of now. But of course, we are building more of these. Right now, we have purchase to pay, order to cash. Of course, we have in the pipeline, we have lead to order pre-built dashboard from Salesforce that we can analyze, that is coming soon. So we are actually bringing more pre-built capabilities so that customers can embark on their journeys quickly. So second one I wanted to quickly touch upon is another a generic dashboard where we have pulled in data from Finagro. Is maybe some of the banking customers would know. This is a client lifecycle management application. Of course, majority of BFSI customers use Finagro. Beyond BFSI domain, also customers use Finagro. So Finagro is in this, we are trying to analyze a KYC process from a banking customer. So you can see the dashboard looks a bit generic because it is catered to meet any system or any process, right? So this is a good way to kind of also embark looking at process mining to use for any kind of your enterprise application or process. Right. I didn't want to just show that we have capability only in purchase to pay. Of course, this is one greater example. So even here, we have built several dashboards. For example, anyone in the client lifecycle management would want to understand how your end-to-end process is faring. Is there any delays in your process? Is there any inefficiency? For example, especially in banking lifecycle, your KYC process, it may involve almost like 50 to 60 steps, and you don't want any inefficiencies in between. And especially you don't want to have cases canceled in between where you've already spent some effort. So that way, I can, using this metric, I can quickly view this information and do the root cause analysis on it, similar to what I showed in the pre-built dashboard. Let me show this case. So this is again a similar view of a root cause analysis. I'm comparing which are the other types. For example, this is department. I can probably add product, banking product, to analyze which are the areas where they are not as per the reference percentage, in this case 15%, right? So that way you can quickly zoom in, take this up for additional analysis, push this for automation hub for if you want to kind of take this up for automation and so on. So that's the capability you get using process mining. And one other thing is the action that I was mentioning, that you can trigger whatever you see, maybe a delayed payment. For example, let me quickly show you a case where there are delays in completing the KYC process, right? So I want to quickly look at, are there any case that I want to escalate immediately? Let me go to a different period. No transactions. Yeah, so there are some transactions that are actually not at the KYC process is fully not complete and they're still in the approval process and you want to quickly escalate. Of course, as I said, this rule can be built within process mining where it will automatically, the condition that what I manually selected can be built in. But in this case, I just want to quickly show a simple example of as an ad hoc, I can quickly click this button called escalate. What this does is it sends a notification to relevant users with the details of these are the cases that are getting delayed, and you may want to look at the relationship manager why this particular case is getting delayed, and you can take action from it, right? So looking at time, I believe I was able to give a quick overview of what process mining as a tool is capable of and what you can do. I'll quickly come back to the presentation and go to the few other slides, and before we can take up questions from the team, right? So as I was explaining, I mean, of course, some of these decks will be shared as well. We can use process mining in various means. I mean, earlier I was giving an example of use process mining, find inefficiencies or bottlenecks, and take them as an automation idea to build automation, right? So that is definitely one of the case where you build automations using our UiPath, and the robots will improve the productivity. But of course, you can also look at standardization as one other alternative. So that's the glimpse. I mean, that's the view I wanted to depict here. And there are various other ways you can use process mining for. In this example, you're actually using process mining together with task mining. In another example, you're using Automation Hub, and you're also using task capture to kind of document in more details and then building automations. We also seen customers using process mining to continuously monitor and trigger actions, right? The earlier example, what I showed, you can trigger actions that may call robots to kind of do certain actions that you build in the robots. And of course, we also have very good use cases where customers who are embarking on their application migration journey or application modernization, in this example, SAP to SAP S/4HANA. If you don't know your as-is process in detail, you can use process mining, do a study of your as-is process, and do a process change, come up with a to-be process before you implement S/4HANA. Then you can start monitoring continuously. And lastly, we have a very intelligent, a unique approach where we use process mining to identify complex business processes that you want to include in your test automation or a continuous testing process. So that way you can use process mining, discover the potential, and use that and build your test cases or test scenarios in your test automation. So this is one area of interest that we have come across from our customers as well. And in addition to that, I'll not go through this in detail. So where process mining can be used is very vast, as even Ashok mentioned. It's kind of an agnostic tool that is designed to meet any horizontal businesses or processes within your organization. And some of the examples of goals and KPIs that we generally see is depicted here. And lastly, process mining definitely can be used beyond automation. I mean, that's the message I want to give here. We have seen customers using process mining for their re-engineering or standardization initiative, system migration example that I gave earlier. We have seen consulting firms using for their audit visibility as well. And a few examples of real customers and benefits that have gained out of using process mining. Of course, I don't have time to go through them in detail, but these are some of the numbers that are really tangible for any organization to look at. And some customer success have mentioned here. Of course, these can be shared. These are anonymized. We are happy to share this information. You can go through them once we share the decks with you. And we have time. What I showed was system view, right? So task mining, initially I explained. If I have time, then I'll come back to task mining. So task mining is a very kind of innovative tool to look at getting a detailed process understanding at user level, at their desktop level. Sometimes it's very difficult to document these steps, or even if you want to do a time and motion study, you are actually disrupting the user in doing their activity. You sit next to them, you ask questions, then they tell you, and many a times you will only be able to capture the happy path. You will not be able to understand if there is any variations that the users does in their day-to-day transactions. It's not discovered. And many times the manual way of documenting or understanding the process is quite expensive. So that's where task mining can be deployed to kind of collect the information from employee desktops and analyze the information using our ML models. And the task mining will provide you outcome. It's a visualization that gives you probability of the areas that you want, that you can take up for automation. And of course, using task mining, you can directly export the details from task mining into either you can take it out as a process design document, or you can push this further to task capture to add more steps if you want, or you can take it directly to your studio as a XAML file to start building your automation workflow, right? So these are the benefits of using task mining. So this is what I explained. I mean, it uses a simple low code kind of a tool that sits on employee's desktop to record. It's done as a project. Each project can be executed for a week or 2 weeks. For a group of users, maybe three to 5 users, and then gather the information and then analyze in task mining. And then it uses AI to kind of look into the repetitive pattern, repetitive nature of tasks being done, and then it recommends by giving ranking of the task. So task number 1 in this screenshot, if you can see, is the tool is thinking that's the task that has the highest probability among the other tasks that you can look for automation. So that's how it recommends. And you can also view the details. So once the tool recommends, of course, you still need an analyst to kind of come in and endorse what the tool has recommended makes sense. Analyst can quickly go in because the tool has already zoomed in. The analyst can go in, look at the process steps again, and if there are any tangible ones that you can take up for automation, then you can export a particular trace. Trace is nothing but an individual transaction that you want to take that up for. Yep. And so that's the information I wanted to touch upon task mining. Apparently, I don't have much time to showcase task mining live demo, but if you want to quickly see, I'll not spend much time, maybe a couple of minutes.
Right. So as Harish sets that up, I'll quickly encourage you guys, if in case there are any questions that you would have, please raise them to us. We're happy to share. We're happy to answer. Although Harish, we do have few questions from the audience, so we'll take it up post this quick demo.
Right. Is there anything that needs to be answered right now, or we don't see it here?
Yes, there is.
Michael Wong, right? Have you answered that? He asked, what are the tools required? Any agent installation required on user desktop to record the application activity?
Right. Yeah, that's what I wanted to quickly show you. Somehow it is taking time to log in for task mining. I believe this question is specifically for task mining. So yes, there is a simple recorder that needs to be installed. Let me show you what that recorder looks like. So I believe you can see a small sleeping robot on my screen. This is a simple executable that needs to be installed at user level. So what this does is once the admin creates a project, invites the user, and this tool is installed, and the admin can start the project, right? So as part of the project, the admin will define the scope for studying the process. Of course, you can't use process mining to blindly study what the user does. That's not what task mining is meant for. Task mining is meant to kind of look at a purview of a process. That means you look at maybe a contact center agent, You know that the day-to-day task is maybe receiving calls from customers, entering a case in a case management system, logging into a separate ERP application, finding some information. So if this is their mundane task, and that's the scope that you want to study, then as part of the project, the admin will yeah.
Sorry, in view of timing, I think the question is that you just install one agent into one desktop only, right? You don't need, like, I've got 4 or 5 people doing the same task. I don't need to install the agents in the 5 desktops, right? It's only one, right? It's just mimicking what needs to be done once, right? Okay.
Typically for a project, task planning project, we recommend at least, because you don't want to just look at one person, because one person might be doing in their own way. If you look at 2-3 people within the department, then you need to install at 2-3 desktops, because you want to look at the same process which is being done by 3 users, how they are doing. If one is doing one way, if the other one is doing another way, that is the insight that you want to gain, right? That's why this will be installed based on the project, 2 or 3 users. That's what it is.
Okay. There's one more, same person, Michael Wong, is talking about security. You're mining, you're pulling the data. He's asking about the security of the data after you have mined it, the process mining. So is it secure?
Definitely, yes. So process mining, of course, we do have both our SaaS platform that customers can embark on. The data will be in the region of we have Singapore as a region now, but if customers have some sensitive data and don't want the data to be kind of sent out of the customer's premises, of course, on-prem is the model that we recommend. So when it is on-prem deployment, right now it is an individual product that can be installed on-prem. And with that, the data will remain completely within the customer's premises. And as part of the data transformation, customers can anonymize some of the sensitive information also. So all those rules can be built. Even if you have something you don't want other users in your organization to see the information, then only the bare minimum information that is needed will be pulled in. And even with that, you can still anonymize.
All right, great. Rahul, back to you.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Harish. I know so much for this understanding. This definitely has been a very good, very, very informative session, right? Team and folks on the call, to quickly summarize, process mining, task mining are 2 different tools that are available at your disposal, for understanding the processes that you would want to use for automation. The only difference is one gives you a view of your system and the other gives you a view from a resource perspective, right? So from a team standpoint, you could deploy from different members, understand what are the process that they are using and analyze that data using an AI model. Process mining, on the other hand, you deploy it over an ERP solution or different solutions and gives you a view in terms of that particular domain, right? So again, these are the tools that our customers are using to identify the processes, to understand the ROI, and to get started on the automation journey, right? So with this and in the interest of time, I think, thank you so much for joining in. I definitely want to thank MICCI for giving us this particular platform and helping us showcase this particular technology and the product. And Harish, thank you so much for joining in and for sharing this insight with us and the product information. Dana, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your guidance. Thank you so much for the explanation. Right, Sean?
Shall we have a quick takeaway from Dana?
Yep. Rahul summarized it very well, Sean. So, these are tools. These are just 2 tools which we showcased today. But there are a lot more tools in the platform that could help with the automation journey. And we're looking beyond the process and task level automation also. There are multiple tools available within the UiPath platform. And yeah, we'll be happy to share any additional information you might need or address queries offline also post this conversation. Like, please route it to us and we'll be happy to address them, Sean.
Okay, great. So in terms of all the listeners, thank you for staying on and going through. You've been exposed to these things. Maybe the first journey you can do is just explore within your organization any very laborious tasks that your clericals or any of your people keeps keying from one system to another, or from a spreadsheet into loading into another system. Maybe you can start from there with the RPA, just to get that going first, then that should free up some of your resources. And then the rest of the whole suite of other applications that they have to optimize your processes further can then be explored. I guess you can take the first step first, right? Okay, yeah. Right, thank you. And thank you for all, KGISL and UiPath for presenting to improve and optimizing our businesses. Okay, so if there is I guess there should be another one where we can showcase some live case studies of how UiPath or your products can able to optimize a business. Would be probably just be tuned, stay tuned. Okay, right. Thank you, Rahul, Dana, and
thank
Arif.
you so much.
All right.
Thank you so
much.
much.
See you guys next time.
Thank
Rahul.
you all.
Right.
Thank
Cheers.
you all.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.